Har vi hatt lite mellomrom her, så jeg kan gå bare tilbake?
Ja, det kan du ha. Ja, da.
Bare sånn? Er det fint?
Ja, du skal gå litt ut og inn.
Nei, jeg vil bare
Vi stenger med hånda.
Well, good morning everyone and welcome on behalf of FIS TV from Lillehammer, the penultimate day of the Junior and Under-23 World Championships in cross-country, and we are already looking at the course map of today, which is our well-known 5K course, which will be skied 2 times as both men and women in the Under-23 category will have their individual races in the classic technique. We're looking forward to the medal events on this Saturday, which also mark the final 2 individual medal events in course of Lillehammer 2026. And my name is Luis Holuch, and I will be your commentator for the remainder of the cross-country events here at the Birkebeineren cross-country stadium. After we had the juniors yesterday, today it's time for the under-23 age category. And we already see the athletes getting prepared for the start. It's going to be an interval start race just as yesterday, and as we speak about it, here is the start list with the 78 competitors representing 27 different nations. They will start in 30 seconds intervals, which means the first athletes will start at 9:30 and the final one at 10:09. Just as you know it from the FIS World Cup, we will also have a group of seeded athletes. Today it's going to be starting with bib number 16 and then the even numbers up until bib number 44. So already in the first third of this race, starting the athletes which are considered to be favorites for this race, which also has an interesting side quest due to the fact that this particular distance of 10K is being skied at the Under-23 World Championships only since the edition in Whistler 2023. So this is just the 4th edition of this event, the 3rd one of them being held in classic technique. Since last year in Skilpario, Italy, this event was held in the 3 technique, and that also marked the only medal actually which wasn't scored by a Norwegian athlete, since Mathias Holbæk won ahead of Thomas Linnebo Mollestad, but bronze went to Martino Carollo from Italy. So we are very curious to see if the international field, besides the home heroes, will be able to score another medal today. Like I said, we had a great variety of nations entering this race. So all different levels and experiences as well, as we see the first competitor of this race, which is going to be Raif Kivil from Estonia, 21 years of age, who recently became Estonia's national champion in the 10K interval start classic, so in exactly the same format as we are skiing today. Yeah, if you followed our coverage throughout these World Championships, you clearly have noticed a slight change in terms of the conditions. There has been a weather change overnight. Unfortunately, the sun not with us today. It's been overcast and also slightly wet, but nevertheless the conditions on the track still pretty decent. As we have seen Amirgali Muratbekov from Kazakhstan making his way out of the starting area, and now coming up next is Ikuya Takisawa from Japan. The 22-year-olds naming six-time Olympic champion Johannes Husvold Klæbo as his idol, and also quite ambitious. He would like to win gold at the Olympics 2030 in the French Alps. And up next is Anders Weiss from the United States of America. As usual, each and every nation had the chance to nominate up to 4 athletes. So the criteria are no different to senior world championships. As we here see the first Polish athlete, Tomasz Wąsowicz, who already recorded his World Cup debut in Oberhof, Germany, in middle of January, with a 66th place in this particular format. So also a 10K interval start classic. And Oberhof, just like Lillehammer, also well known for very challenging tracks. We have seen it throughout this week that everything needs to come together in order to even have a chance to fight for medals. This is David Fuchs of Austria, two-time participant in the junior category. And he made his under-23 World Championship debut recently at the 20K must start just a couple of days ago. And here comes Silvan Hauser from Switzerland, the alumni of the sports college in Davos, obviously one of our beloved World Cup venues, an absolute classic in the cross-country world. First Italian representative, Teo Galli, originally from Livigno, also a name you love to associate with cross-country. Recently hosted the ski and snowboard freestyle events at the Milano Cortina 2026 Olympic Games. Not sure if he had an eye on that as he was preparing for this great event, but obviously a great pride for the Italian, coming from a village which hosted Olympic Winter Games. This is Renta Yamaguchi from Japan, the student of the Waseda University, quite a famous one inside Japan. Also marking his debut in the U23 category, which starts in the year 2005 and also includes 2004 and 2003. Being from 2003, Piotr Jarecki from Poland. Quite an experienced athlete, especially on the highest level. He is a finisher of the Tour de Ski in this season with a 66th place in the overall. Recorded his best World Cup result in Oslo last year with the 51st place. Benjamin Dolby from the United States of America. already the second US American, but the first of two from Alaska actually. And up next, Corbin Carpenter is the second one from the states in the north of the USA. First time for Corbin participating in any championships in any age category, but he made a decent impression in the 20K. Must start with a 10th place already, so curious to see if he will be able to follow up on that one. Next up, Janne Walcher, the sports soldier, originally from Groß-Aal in the federal state of Salzburg. Actually moved to Hochfilzen due to his profession, sort of. Of course, Hochfilzen, well known from the Biathlon World Cup. And up next is Luke Allen from Canada. Also, he recorded starts in the World Cup already. Actually, 2 years ago in Minneapolis, the United States. And from the oldest age which is allowed to be starting here, Yvan Essonnier from France. The athlete who also did gymnastics as a kid, actually. And here we have Eero Rantala from Finland, the first of the seeded athletes. So keep an eye on those guys that have these even numbers on their bibs, 16, 18, 20, and so on. And Rantala, the first one of them, already had his 23rd birthday, so this is officially his last individual start in the youth ages. Niklas Elias Steiger from Switzerland, who also played ice hockey and football as a kid before giving his heart to cross-country skiing. Recently became the national champion in 10K must start classic events at Les Diablerets, actually. And here we see Tobias Ganner from Austria, from the well-known Ganner family, actually. Both his parents, Norbert and Renate, were cross-country skiers, as well as his brother Florian. And also his sister Selina put on the slim skis, but she's active as a biathlete. Milan Lessus for France. Obviously one of those young French athletes aiming to participate at their home Olympic Games in 4 years' time in the French Alps. And this under 23 World Championships marking an important milestone for him. This guy right here, Niko Anttola, already became an Olympian recently in Milano Cortina. Was part of the relay that finished 4th, but also took part in the skiathlon with an 18th place and 25th in the interval start 3 over 10 kilometers. And here comes the first Norwegian, Vemund Totsås Jonsborg. the Junior National Championships bronze medalist in 20K actually. As we have our first look on the course with bib number 1 Ralf Kivel from Estonia making his way to the stadium back again. Here is the split time at 3.9 kilometers actually. We have a couple of those alongside the track obviously. And that was Taito Yamasaki from Japan making his way out of the starting area. And up next, the next Finnish athlete, Niilo Mäkkinen. If you know the surname, Nuti Mäkkinen, who is a year older than him, is also a cross-country skier and even coached him at the 2024 Junior World Championships. So like, as in many ski sports, also in cross-country, it's a huge part family affairs actually. Daniel Sandsvand Omfjord has neither competed in any Junior World Championships or under 23 World Championships event until today, so this marks his debut. Very special moment for him. Unlike Roman Alder from Switzerland, the younger brother of Fabienne. Not too long ago he scored his best World Cup result with a 13th place in Oberhof, actually in a sprint race in free technique, so not really comparable to these events today. So the split screen, a welcomed feature. Occasionally, upsa, that was far from ideal. The start of Thomas Linneborg Mollestad, our silver medalist from last year in Skilpà, Italy. Hopefully it didn't cost him too much time, but obviously you aim for a smooth start and that was not quite a particular one. Jonathan Lindberg for Sweden. Also only his second race in this age category. 2 days ago he finished 8th, very strong 8th in the 20K must start free, so that technique definitely suited him. Let's see how it is with the classic one today. Next up, Jiří Tuš, another Olympian who also recorded very impressive results in individual races. 5th in the classic sprint, but then also 7th in the relay and 8th in the team sprint. So that's definitely a name to remember. Probably also for today. Mathieu Blanc from France scored a podium in the FIS Alpine Cup, one of those many junior categories. And here comes another Olympian, Anton Gran, the 10th place finisher in the sprint classic at the Milano Cortina Games. The first athletes actually already have concluded the first lap, as we can see here on the right hand side. This is Anders Weiss from the United States. So the bib numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4 are already at halftime, while we are just starting out with bib number 31, Romain Vaxler from France. And here we head back to the penultimate split time of the first lap, following Benjamin Dolby from the United States. And especially these short climbs are not particularly easy in the classic technique, as we can see a very good impression so far from his teammate Carpenter, who's made up quite some time. Also quite a good orientation for you out there. Remember that each and every bib are separated by just 30 seconds, so you can compare the gaps on course if someone has made up quite some ground or also lost something. This is Jens Junes from Sweden. Before him, also Gabriele Matli left the starting area. And the next Italian is just following up right now with Davide Guillot. Silver medalist in the relay from last year's World Championships. And Carpenter has definitely set a decent benchmark for the early stage of this race. So far, no one has gotten even close to him until he reached that checkpoint. Ralf Kivel from Estonia was actually still in the lead. He already reached the intermediate time at 6.4 kilometers. The best at halftime currently is Tomasz Wąsowicz from Poland, but just 0.1 of a second ahead of Kivel, as we now see the next green time from Eero Rantala. So the first seeded athlete is making an early impression at this stage of the race. And we are slowly advancing towards the end of this group. Remember, the last one of the seeded athletes comes with bib number 44. This is Pierrick Cotier from Switzerland, who named a Norwegian as his idol, Petter Nordhug, alongside Dario Colonia, but I guess this is a must name as a Swiss. It's a very pleasant split best time Eero Rantala has set there with exactly 10 minutes after 3.9 kilometers. And the first one getting quite close to him, Tobias Ganna from Austria. Very unsurprising up until now. We're also having a look on the live timing, seeing that Corbin Carpenter has the best split time at 5 kilometers, so exactly at half time. And also Milan Lessus quite close to Rantala's time, as we see his teammates Niko Anttola, who manages to beat Rantala's time by almost 12 seconds, so that's a huge gap he has created there. The Finns are definitely in a very good position in this particular moment of the race, as we see Andrea Zorzi leaving the stadium area. If you ask yourself the question, he's not related to Christian Zorzi. But being from Val di Fiemme, kind of a native cross-country skier, we can tell. This is Jalmari Bergqvist from Finland. His third race this week, after finishing 23rd in the sprint free and 37th in the 20K must start free. And we already arrived at the penultimate seeded athlete. This is Xavier McKeever from Canada. Another Olympian, finishing 5th in the relay, 6th in the team sprint, 13th even in the skiathlon. A very decent result for him. Also a 2-time World Championships participant, so that CV is proof of that you also need to watch out for him. So far, Niko Anttola recorded best split times at all checkpoints he has arrived to. Although his teammate Niilo Mäkinen not quite able to challenge him with 25 seconds down already after 3.9 kilometers. So for now it remains a Finnish double lead with Anttola ahead of Rantala. And exactly the same picture we already can see at halftime. 17 seconds Anttola ahead of Rantala. So we are looking at a finishing time of around 24 minutes. If Anttola is able to maintain that pace, obviously that's quite the challenge. But that's also good orientation for everyone watching out there, as we have all seated athletes on the course now. Kasper Kvam Grindhagen from Norway was the final one with bib number 44. And the next starter will be Kilian Kehra from Austria. The National Championship silver medalist in 30K must start last winter. And we are back with our silver medalist from last year, Thomas Lindebo Molenstad, not quite able to set the same pace as the Finns earlier on, already lost 24 seconds within these 3.9 kilometers. Quite a huge gap, as the Finnish double lead is still holding up at the moment. Jonathan Lindberg aiming for a 5th intermediate place at that point. And behind him comes Jiří Tuž, the biggest favorite from Czechia, and he is the first one to set a time right in between Anttola and Rantala. So we will definitely see how his race will unfold. Also in medal contention up until then, as we see Alexander Lizuchor from the Ukraine. The first Ukrainian actually to finish an Olympic skiathlon since Vancouver 2010. So quite the achievement for the Ukrainian. Mathieu Blanc lost a good 20 seconds. It's a very impressive pace the Finns have set in the early stage of this race. And here with bib number 2 we saw Amirgali Uradbekov, who was already at 8.9 kilometers and actually took over the lead at that point ahead of Raif Kivil. Here Anton Gran at 3.9 kilometers, a good 15 seconds behind the leaders. But for a first time, since a good couple of minutes, I can report a lead of another athlete which is not finished. Tobias Ganna set the pace at 6.4 kilometers, but was overtaken by Niko Anttola, who's looking to be the guy to beat today. He's a good 30 seconds ahead of Ganna. And here we see Tomasz Wąsowicz taking over the lead at the third last checkpoint at 8.9. We have another one at 9.5 before making the way back to the finish line at 10K. This is Noah Weir-Chaba from Canada. And we welcome the first athlete back to the finish. Ralf Kivil from Estonia recorded a time of 26 minutes, 6.9 seconds. But we still have over 20 athletes in the starting area, even more with bib number 54. This is Dastan Galyebekov from Kazakhstan. And with Ilyas Isabek, already the next Kazakhstani athletes will follow. And the first one of them already reached the finish line with Amirgail Muratbekov, but he was not able to beat Kivil's time, so he will enjoy a couple of more moments in the leader chair, as we saw. Erik Bergström making his way to the 3.9 mark. Almost 30 seconds behind the leaders. This is already too far, we can tell. Here we see Matthias Bauer, the son of Czech cross-country legend Lukáš Bauer. Just ahead of Gran, as we see the next athletes coming to the finish. Bib number 3 from Japan, that was Ikuya Takisawa, and up next already Tomasz Wąsowicz, who will take over the lead from Ralf Kivil with a good 9 seconds. And Wąsowicz even managed to overtake Anders Weiss from the United States, who has lost a huge chunk of time. Obviously we can't tell if something happened to him on the course. We didn't see anything, but for Tomasz there was quite a good impression. Definitely better looking in regards to his time is Corbin Carpenter, who seems to be a lot faster than Wąsowicz even. Ahead of him he has Elias Keck from Germany, our U23 world champion in the 20K Master 3 just a couple of days ago. And this is Łukasz Gazurek from Poland with bib number 59. So, like I said, we have 78 competitors on the start list, so still a chunk to go. So far, still seems very much like a dominant performance from Niko Anttola, who is already past the checkpoint at 7.6 kilometers with 40 seconds ahead of his closest competitors. Obviously, he was one of the earliest seeded athletes to have started the race. The second earliest, actually, after Niko Anttola, who is making his way to the 8.9 checkpoints. Yeah, but also Anttola only a good 10 seconds ahead of Carpenter. We have seen different gaps from him, so looks like he was not able to maintain that strong early pace he's had. And like Carpenter himself, who will set a new impressive benchmark for now, with over 30 seconds ahead of Tomasz Wąsowicz. So here comes Tobias Ganna to the 8.9 mark. He was ahead of Anttola at the 2 checkpoints before and also maintained that gap here. So quite a consistent pace from the Austrian. But here comes the dominant man so far. Niko Anttola. 43 seconds his lead over Ganna. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And also having the pace he's got, he already managed to overtake even a couple of athletes, so it might be the Finns' day today. Is Carpenter taking a rest after his performance? And here comes the first seeded athlete towards the finish line. Niko Anttola is likely taking over the lead from Carpenter, but not by much actually, so that's a huge compliment to the performance of the US American. 25-25 the time from Anttola. But like I said, we expect to see times sub the 25-minute mark. Probably already from Tobias Ganna, who is making his way downhill to the stadium area. One short bump, then it's just this left-hander towards the finish line. And a good bit of double poling. This is no time sub 25 minutes, but definitely faster than Antola's time. (25:08). But Anttola, who is up next, is absolutely crushing it. 54, almost 46 it is. Sorry about that. 46 seconds his gap over Ganna with a finishing time of 24 minutes and 23 seconds. He's left it all on the course. And this looks very much like a world champion performance. Wow. He's literally lifted himself into a different league compared to the rest of the field. And of course we have the timing monitor in our eyes, but it's Anttola all over the place, literally. There is no one even getting remotely close to him. So, probably eventually the day has come where we are going to see a different nation winning this particular gold medal at Junior World Championships. Like I said, so far 8 of the 9 World Championships in that particular event have been taken by Norwegians. The 2 times we have seen very dominant performances with gaps of 25 seconds between 1 and 2, but Anttola might even break that record today. On such a short distance, that's very impressive after all. First Norwegian coming to the finish line with Vemund Totos Jonsborg. Only 8th position, but he was not a seeded athlete, so we could expect slightly more from his teammates. As we see Niilo Mäkinen arriving to the finish, but also he is losing more than 50 seconds to his teammates. But here comes Jiří Tuš, still fighting for that silver medal, only 0.1 seconds ahead of Tobias Ganna at the 3rd last checkpoint. He has been 2nd placed at every checkpoint, but this is going to be very tight between Tuš and Ganna in the race for silver. Probably has to double check what he has been skiing today. Anton Gran. So far he has been on course to a bronze medal probably. Still another 7 athletes coming after him that are counted as seeded ones. So we probably can't be too sure. Meanwhile, Jiří Tuš at the penultimate checkpoint has lost the place compared to Ganna. So probably the Austrian will remain virtually in 2nd. At least Jonathan Lindberg is not able to challenge him, but he almost made up 30 seconds towards the athlete that started ahead of him, which is Thomas Lindebo Mollestad, last year's silver medalist, having quite a bad day. After all, only 8th position for him now, Lindberg on 6th. So after dominating these events in the last World Championships editions, Norway are having to fight for a medal today, just as Jiří Tuš. Silver already gone for him, but at the moment it's bronze. 1.4 seconds ahead of Milan Lesus. That would be a great achievement for the Czech competitor. But I'm afraid he cannot be too sure that this standing will remain, as Anton Gran is making his way to the finish. The Swedes who even managed to overtake both Tuš and Ganna at the last 2 checkpoints before the finish. And here he comes to the finish straight. He still has a good margin compared to Ganna and will take the silver medal rank for now. Anton Gran from Sweden, finishing 39 seconds slower than Niko Anttola. And what I can tell from the timing pages up until now, the only athletes in serious contention out on the course still are Kasper Kvam Grindhagen, the final seeded athlete with bib number 44, but also Matthias Bauer with bib number 36 is having a very decent race. And there we see him. So is he able to achieve what Tush was prevented from? At least he's quite close to him at this particular checkpoint. So if he can increase his pace in these very final 1.1 kilometers towards the finish, he can have a chance onto a medal, as Jonathan Lindberg is being supported from the staff there. Finishing with bib number 32, this is Gabriele Matli from Italy, followed by Romain Vaxler, who actually started ahead of him, so difficult day at the office for the Frenchman, as Anttola getting ready for what looks to be his World Championships honoring ceremony. We are back with Elias Keck. Not even 48 hours after he became a world champion in the 20K Mastart Free. He's been part of the top group in that particular race pretty much all the time and let it all out on the finishing straight. Just another couple of days after he scored the silver medal in the sprint events. But both of that in the free technique, which suits him slightly better than the classic one. So how is Bauer doing? He was third at the penultimate split time, but only 0.1 seconds ahead of Ghana. So this is going to be a very tight race. Silver medal for Grant seems to be out of reach for him. But bronze is definitely in his hands right now. 2.5 seconds faster than Tobias Ghana. So Czechia is back on the medal ranks for now. Probably even has no idea yet what the result is. Yeah, he is looking on the LED screen. Probably yet too tired to show some signs of happiness or even satisfaction. But that will come with time. If the standings remain as they are, I'm still having a look on Kasper Kvam Grindhagen, who is actually second placed after 7.6 kilometers. He will have 2 more checkpoints before the finish. And speaking of the finish, here comes Elias Keck. Probably finishing outside the top 10 today even. Yeah, ranked number 13 for him. As you can see, the gaps between the athletes in this part of the result list are getting quite tight, so it's not easy to score a very decent result there. But Kasper Kvam Grindhagen is on her way to a medal as of now. 31 seconds behind Anttola. Almost 8 seconds ahead of Gran. So is it going to be at least a silver medal for Norway today? Grindhagen is the final Norwegian that can actually influence the results. And with him we will also conclude the group of seeded athletes, and the bib of the world champion has already been handed out to Anttola for good reason. There is no one even getting close to him. with bib number 42. This is Xavier McKeever from Canada making his way to the finish. And not only the course itself is being demanding, but also the conditions. McKeever having a strong outing, especially compared to the athlete which is literally right behind him, Andrea Zorzi, was not able to match the pace of the Canadian. McKeever therefore finishing inside the top 10. News from Greenhagen. He is a good 10 seconds ahead of Gran at the penultimate split. And here he comes. The Norwegian double poling his way to a silver medal today. He has even overtaken 3 athletes and comes to the finish line with 30 seconds being behind Anttola. In his only second race at the U23 World Championships, Greenhagen looks to be scoring his first medal. He was 12th in the 20K free events just 2 days ago, and today pulls out this effort in order to score a silver medal. In just half a distance, but different technique, obviously. So that means Gran set to be taking bronze. Matthias Bauer missing out on the medal by just 4 seconds. Ja. In Greenhagen, visibly exhausted but happy about this effort, being congratulated by the new world champion in this category. Oh, that was a very honest answer from him. Noticing Anttola's early pace on and realizing, oh well, I can't do this right now. And Anttola will just enjoy the first moments, at least unofficially being a world champion. Obviously, we still have to wait for the race to finish. All athletes have made it past the three first checkpoints after 2.6 kilometers. So we are just waiting for them to advance more and more. Here comes Kilian Kehrer of Austria, losing a good 2.5 minutes on these 10K, and with that you're only 41st. You can see his bib, so that position will not remain until the end of the race, probably. Still a few exotic skiing nations out on the course. For instance, our Turkish competitor Abdullah Yilmaz. As we see Alexander Lizuchor making his way towards the finish line. He has even overtaken Yannick Weidlich of Germany on his way. And also Nate Stern of Slovenia, actually. Our only Slovenian in this start list. With bib number 50, this is Mario Matikanov from Bulgaria. The only Bulgarian, so one of the solo fighters in here, but also an Olympian already. Participant in Milano Cortina with a 22nd place in the team sprint, a 49th in the 10K interval starts free, 62nd in the skiathlon and 74th in the sprint classic. During the races held at Lago di Tesoro, here at the moment 42nd behind Piotr Jarecki from Poland and Kilankera of Austria. But speaking of Poles, here comes the next one, Paweł Breja. Made his World Cup debut in Switzerland, in Goms actually, in a sprint classic race actually. And also to the finish comes Noah Weir Chaba on the left hand side, as well as Gabriel Cojucaro from Romania. So just a couple of athletes, or even one athlete only missing to have completed the first lap. That is Noah Bradford from Australia. As David Pešta from Czechia finishing 51st of 52 at the finish. And the Italians, after celebrating a bronze medal last year at Skilpario, even on home ground, through Martino Carollo, today not quite close to the medals. The best one of them, Gabriele Matli, at 12th place at the moment. And with bib number 54, Dastan Alibekov from Kazakhstan. So also the final starter, Noah Bradford, concluded the first lap already. So literally all athletes on course are skiing the final one. And as much as the field is quite packed in the middle of the results list at the moment, though the virtual result list, we should say, at the tail end the bags have become quite big, as we already see our medalists to be. Anton Gran, silver, a bronze, silver for Kasper Kram-Grinhagen, and gold for Niko Anttola. Yeah, a nice bit of interaction between David Pešta on the left-hand side and Paweł Breja on the right-hand side. out how the race went. And also our Spanish friends are on course. This is Aniol Orey Carzals.
Niko, finally we are back in Classics and you don't miss your chance to win the gold. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels very good. I had a lot of energy today and very good skis, so it was very fun to compete today.
What was the tactic? You opened so fast. Was it the plan?
Yeah, the plan was to open with control and then keep up with a good pace to the finish. Yeah.
What is the importance for you to compete here and win the title in the under 23 while it's the World Cup now in Lahti?
Yeah, it was a tough decision to where I compete this weekend, but I'm happy with my choice, and now I'm done with these under 23 races and hopefully compete in the World Cup next year.
Thanks, congrats.
Yeah, that very much speaks for itself. Very understandable that Anttola had to think probably more than
you take the
twice.
silver medal today. You were a bit far in the skating, but now it was your day. How was it?
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed after the skate, so I have to do better today. And yeah, I was also racing the Norwegian Cup yesterday, so I was kind of struggling with the cramps on the second lap and was a bit tired, but I got yeah, I think I did a good last 1K, so I'm happy today.
What is the plan next? To go back tomorrow to the Skikampen Norges Cup or to stay here?
Yeah, I hope I can race the relay tomorrow. If not, I'm going to do a 30K skate tomorrow, but we'll see.
You are also from Biosen, right? So what is happening there? What's the secret?
Yeah, I think in Trondheim and in Biosen you can't do anything but do skiing when you're like 10 to 20, so yeah, we just got to keep skiing.
Thanks, congrats.
It's a very interesting insight from Kasper Kvam Grindhagen.
Anton, you take the bronze medal today. How does that feel?
It feels really good. I'm waiting a long time for a good distance race and to show that you're not only a sprinter, so it feels really good to take this third place today.
Why did you decide to come here to the Under 23 World Championships and not go to Falun and to have your chance on the sprint?
It feels like I had a lot to do here in Lillehammer, and it feels really cool to do U23 Championship, and it will be more World Cup races, but it's just this year and next year that is U23 World Championships.
So is tomorrow the plan to compete with your teammates in the relay?
Yeah, I hope so. If I get the chance, I will go, and hopefully for the first. So it'll be really fun.
Thanks, congrats.
Thank you.
So obviously the relay participants are yet to be nominated. That will happen in course of the afternoon. But at least both Grindhagen and Gran hoping to compete in that race today. This Grindhagen, well, if I can't ski in the relay tomorrow, I will do a 30K. After doing a 5K yesterday in the Norwegian Cup, finishing 5th. So no matter how how the decision will be, he will be racing anyway. But exactly that he didn't have a rest day yesterday. Instead, choose to compete at a different event and still managed to win a medal today with cramps on the second lap. Makes it even more impressive.
Sí. Hagamos duro.
So just 12 athletes missing to arrive at the finish line. So far, we also don't have any DNFs or anything. A very smooth race up until now. As we follow Jonas Jan Helmich from Czechia at his first under-23 World Championships. The athlete from Liberec, the World Championships host of 2009.
Before adjusting Boudreau Camamemo, Boudreau number 59 so far.
And in the result graphic you can also see the first of two Icelandic athletes, Einar Arni Gíslason. The second one still on course with Astmar Helgi Kristinsson. And here we see the final representative of Spain, Marc Golay Pantebre. Also competed at the Olympics in the team sprint where they finished 15th, and also the sprint classic with a 55th place.
Will take the gold medal for Finland.
This is the longest race he has attended at
Matthias Bauer, Czechia is 4th, Tobias Gamner, Austria 5th, Jiti Czechia 6th.
any big events, World Championships or Olympic Games, and manages to arrive ahead of his teammates. Annual Borre Casals. This is Alexander Grbovic, the representative of Montenegro. Part of a family dynasty, more or less. His father Goran, who competed for Yugoslavia, as well as his uncles Veselin and Patric, his great-aunt Stania and grandfather Tomasz. So Alexander, the recent athlete from this project. Also an Olympian, competed in the Sprint Classic and the 10K free. And another couple of athletes coming to the finish with bib number 72. This is Abdullah Yilmaz for Turkey. He just got overtaken by the second Icelandic competitor Astma Helgi Kristinsson. So he will finish much up ahead of the Turkish athlete. Still great to have him with us today. 67th place for him. Abdullah Yilmaz also became an Olympian at Milano Cortina, being already the second Turkish athlete in cross-country skiing. The first one was born in 1961, competed at Calgary 1988 and Albertville 1992. And for Abdullah, this is the second under-23 World Championships he's taking part in, after Skilpario last year. So 6 more athletes to go, among them Silvestris Švaukšs from Latvia. The the most recent athlete to arrive at the checkpoints at 9.5 kilometers. Also, he recorded World Cup starts already, 9 in total, and also one championships appearance last year at Trondheim. So also well experienced already, competing in Norway. But also raced in the Scandinavian Cup in Finland this season as well. But it looks like he will have the slowest time of all finishers. Unfortunately, but someone obviously has to do it. But that probably won't last until the finish, because he managed to overtake his teammate Sandis Shuhanovs by quite much, actually over almost a minute pretty much. And here we see our only Danish competitor. This is Eske Ronau. The student at the Bates College in the state of Maine, who aims for a major in psychology actually. Originally from Aspen, Colorado, so a skiing mecca pretty much. He also graduated at the high school there. A very fun fact you can read about him is that if he has the chance to swap lives with a celebrity for one day, he would choose Frida Karlsson actually. But for today it's going to be 74th at the moment, with two more athletes on course, being Jaden Spring and Noah Bradford, both from Australia. And here comes Spring. A native from Melbourne who started cross-country skiing when he was 10. And when he was asked why, he said, because it hurts and I've come to love pain. So that's also how things can go. So it's just his teammates. Bradford. We are waiting for at the finish area before being able to confirm the results. But Bradford, one of the athletes who are also active in other sports. In his case, it's actually biathlon. He even competed in the World Cup this season in Oberhof and Nové Mesto na Morave. So giving both sports a try. And here he comes. The only difference is that you don't ski in the classic technique, obviously. But also good to hear. And also hopefully see there's still a crowd supporting him on his way to the finish line. In his final Under 23 World Championships edition. He had won in the junior category in Whistler 2023. Then last year debuted in, or 2 years ago debuted in Planica, last year also taking part in Skilpario, and this year Lillehammer was calling for him. And with Bradford arriving to the finish line, we can conclude that all 78 athletes on the start list have made their way to the finish.
The last starter, and I think he's the last finishers also. So we should start preparing for the ceremony for the sixth best. Anttola, Grindhagen, Graham, Bauer.
The race has officially finished, and in just 9 minutes we are expecting to see the podium ceremony with the top 6 being Jiří Tuš from Czechia, 6th place, Tobias Ganna of Austria, 5th, Matthias Bauer, another Czech athlete, on 4th, missing out for a medal by just 4 seconds. Bronze went to Anton Gran of Sweden, silver to Kasper Kvam Grindhagen, and a dominant world championship race by Niko Anttola, winning by over 30 seconds. This is the biggest gap between first and second in every race at under 23 World Championships in the 10K. Also considering both techniques. Last year Matthias Holbach won with 25 seconds ahead of Thomas Linnebo Mollestad and Martino Carollo. So that margin easily beaten by Anttola.